Have you ever sensed an invisible force obstructing your every move? No matter how hard you strive, it feels like nothing works. What if I told you that a simple onion could slice through that negative energy and send any harm back to its source? It might sound unbelievable, but what most people don't realize is that hidden forces are undermining your life without your awareness. Today, I'm here to show you how to eliminate that negativity once and for all. This practice, passed down through generations, involves an ancient ritual using a humble onion, a secret known to few that can help break cycles of bad luck, dispel negativity, and open the door to a life filled with peace and prosperity. If you feel like something is hindering your success, you can't afford to ignore it. Keep watching to discover how this simple yet powerful technique can transform your energy and your life. Before we dive in, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for more transformative content. If you're ready to unleash your positive energy, comment below with "I need this change." Now I want you to stop and imagine one thing. What would your life be like if suddenly all those problems you've been facing, the lack of luck, unexplained illnesses, senseless conflicts, simply disappeared? Sounds too good to be true, right? But before you think it's all just coincidence, let me share some stories that will change your perspective. Let's talk about Maria. She's 54 years old, a mother of two, and in recent months she felt like her life was falling apart. Maria was healthy and had a peaceful routine, but suddenly everything changed without explanation. She began to experience extreme fatigue, body aches, and to top it off, financial problems started appearing. It was as if something was draining her energy, blocking all her attempts to recover. After seeing doctors and undergoing tests without finding answers, Maria was desperate. That's when someone told her about the onion ritual. At first, like many people, she didn't believe it. How could an onion solve what medicine couldn't? But with no other options, Maria decided to give it a try. Here's the interesting part. Shortly after performing the ritual, Maria felt an immediate change. She described the sensation as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders, a lightness she hadn't felt in months. In the following days, her body started to improve. The aches subsided, the fatigue vanished, and what seemed impossible, her financial situation began to get better. New opportunities arose, and harmony returned to her home. Now let's talk about another case. Marcos, a 52-year-old businessman who was going through a tough time. Despite being competent and dedicated, it seemed like nothing was progressing. He would close a business deal only for it to collapse soon after. No matter how hard he tried, an invisible force always seemed to prevent him from thriving. That's when he decided to try the onion ritual, after hearing a friend talk about how it had changed her life. Like Maria, he was skeptical at first, but with no options left, he decided to give it a shot. Marcos followed the steps you'll learn shortly, and within days, something began to shift. It wasn't immediate, but he started noticing that the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable began to fade away. His business started to thrive, contracts that had been stalled were signed, and he finally received the recognition he had been seeking. Now, if you still think this ritual is just a trend or something new, let me tell you that this onion ritual has much deeper roots than you might imagine. It spans centuries of ancestral wisdom practiced in various cultures around the world. We're not talking about a modern or baseless practice. We're talking about ancient traditions passed down through generations by civilizations that understood the connection between the physical and spiritual worlds in a much more direct way. For instance, the ancient Egyptians revered the onion for its layers, believing that these layers symbolized eternity and the multiple dimensions of life and the soul. It was common for them to use onions in purification rituals, whether to protect the home or ensure that the deceased found peace in the afterlife. For the Egyptians, the onion wasn't just a food item. It was a powerful protective amulet that warded off negative influences and maintained energetic balance. The Babylonians also had spiritual practices involving onions. In ancient Babylon, it was common to place onions at strategic points in the house to drive away evil spirits and protect families from plagues and diseases. They believed that the strong smell of the onion could purify the environment, driving away negative entities and attracting healing energies. Not just these civilizations, but many cultures around the world, from east to west, have used onions as symbols of protection and cleansing. In ancient Greece, for example, it was believed that onions could absorb the negative energies surrounding a person, acting as a kind of spiritual sponge. In various European folk traditions, people would hang onions at their doors or place them under their beds as a form of protection against curses, envy, and malevolent spirits. The onion, with its seemingly infinite layers, has always been seen as a reflection of the multiple layers of energy that surround us, which is precisely why it continues to be used today in purification and protection rituals. And now the question is, will your transformation story be next? Just like Maria and Marcos, you too could be one step away from restoring balance in your life. There are no coincidences. If you're here watching this video, it may be the universe sending you a signal that it's time to act. What would you do to reclaim your peace, health, and success? The ritual is within your reach, and you can now be part of these change stories. Don't ignore the signals life is giving you. Today could be the day you decide to turn the page and finally cut the negativity at its root, literally. Now that you've heard the stories of people who transformed their lives with this ritual, you're probably wondering, but how can something as simple as an onion have so much power? It may seem unlikely, but it's in that simplicity where the secret lies. That's what we're going to explore now. How you can use this ritual to solve everyday problems, restore your balance, and even send negativity back to its sender. Why an onion? Before I show you the step-by-step process, it's important to understand the symbolism behind this ritual. The onion is much more than a common kitchen ingredient. Its layers represent the multiple layers of energy that surround us. Think about this. Every day we are exposed to external energies, both positive and negative. Some of these energies can influence us in ways we may not even perceive. Small arguments, bad luck, unexplained health issues, all of this can be related to these invisible influences. When we cut the onion, we're doing more than just a physical act. We are breaking down the barriers of those negative energies layer by layer. It's as if by cutting the onion, we are severing the ties that bind us to bad luck, envy, and the negativity that other people may have sent our way. And this is where the power of the ritual comes in. Now that you understand the depth of the negative energies that may be blocking your life, it's time to discover how such a simple ritual can completely change your reality. As incredible as it may seem, what I'm about to teach you involves something you probably have in your kitchen right now, an onion. But before we proceed, think for a moment. How many times have you found yourself in a situation where it seemed like something was wrong, but you didn't know exactly what it was? It's as if there were an invisible force preventing you from moving forward. Perhaps it's that promotion at work that never comes, despite your competence, or that feeling of fatigue that never goes away, no matter how much you sleep. Unexpected health issues, arguments that arise out of nowhere, a streak of bad luck that seems endless. We've all been through that at some point. Now imagine that you could cut that negative energy from your life and return the harm to its sender. With a simple ritual, you can free yourself from those invisible ties. What would you do to have that power? Stay with me because I will guide you step by step through this transformative process. First, take a deep breath and focus. Grab an onion, yes, that same onion you use for cooking. It can be a powerful tool for transformation. As you hold the onion, perceive its symbolism. With its multiple layers, it reflects the layers of energies and influences that accumulate in our lives, often without our realization. Those layers hide blockages, envy, and negativity, the very forces that are hindering your path. Now with a knife, cut the onion in half. Do it decisively. As you cut, Imagine that you are breaking the ties with negative energies. This is where the strength of the ritual comes in. The act of cutting is not just physical, it's symbolic. It's as if every movement of the knife is breaking the invisible chains that hold you back. Visualize those situations that concern you, the lack of prosperity, the arguments that come from nowhere, the unexplained fatigue. With each cut into the onion, you are breaking that negative connection, returning the harm to its sender, and freeing yourself. This creates an immediate change in the energy field around you, and this isn't a new or unfounded practice. It has been used for generations to ward off evil and protect the energy field. After cutting the onion, place the two halves on a plate and leave them in a quiet corner of your home. The onion, with its ability to absorb energies, will begin to attract all the negative influences that have been hovering over you. Throughout the rest of the day, it will be working silently to cleanse your energy and the environment around you. At the end of the day, take the two halves and dispose of them. Don't just throw them away carelessly. Take the onion halves outside your home and dispose of them away from your residence. This symbolizes that you are expelling the evil from your life, eliminating it from your surroundings, and ensuring it doesn't return. As you dispose of the onion, imagine that all the negative energies affecting you are leaving with it. Picture the lightness that will come afterward, financial problems starting to resolve, your health returning, personal relationships flowing naturally again. All of this from the simple act of cutting an onion. And the most incredible part is that you can repeat this ritual whenever you need to. The energies around us are dynamic, and we don't always have control over what others emit toward us. What's important is knowing that with this simple practice you have a shield. Whenever you feel that weight on your chest, that feeling that things aren't going as they should, return to this ritual. Reinforce your intention to cut negative energies and restore your balance. The key here is your intention. Every time you perform this act, you send a clear message to the universe. You refuse to be a victim of negative influences. With that, you strengthen your protection, becoming increasingly immune to the harm that may try to approach you. Now that you've discovered the transformative power of this simple onion ritual, it's time to make a decision that could change your life. Think for a moment. Are you going to continue allowing those negative energies to dominate your emotions, your health, your finances? Will you let that invisible blockage continue preventing you from living your best life? Or are you going to take action now to cut the evil at its root and reclaim your peace and prosperity? This isn't just another suggestion or a mystical idea. This ritual has been used for generations and proven effective precisely because its efficacy lies in its simplicity and the power of intention. Now imagine, what if everything holding you back could start to disappear after a simple act? What if the energy blocking your opportunities, draining your vitality, and causing conflicts in your relationships could be cut away today, here and now? But there's something even more important here. Maybe you're thinking of someone else who also needs this release, the friend who is always exhausted for no reason, or perhaps a family member who seems unable to escape a streak of bad luck. Sharing this video with those people isn't just an act of kindness, it's an act of power. Just as you're seeking to cut the evil from your life, those people also deserve the opportunity to free themselves. By sharing this knowledge, you not only help others but create a healing network where everyone around you can start to vibrate at a higher frequency, away from negative influences. Don't underestimate the power of this information. Keeping it to yourself would be like leaving a key that can open doors hidden at the bottom of a drawer. The more people who know about this ritual, the more positive energy you'll be spreading throughout the world. And this is one of the laws of life. The more you share, the more you receive. The more you help others free themselves from their own negative influences, the more light you attract to yourself. The onion ritual is just the first step on a much larger journey. Within our channel, you will find other powerful methods to protect your energy, improve the quality of your life, and bring balance to your day-to-day. Think about it. With simple actions using objects you already have at home, you can gradually transform your reality, freeing yourself from blockages and attracting prosperity. And when you subscribe to the channel, you don't just receive information, you join a community of people who, like you, are seeking something greater, a state of balance, protection, and success. This goes far beyond just watching videos. It's about belonging to a group of people who support each other, share life-changing knowledge, and understand that together we can build a lighter and more protected life. So what are you waiting for? Now is the time to act. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Subscribe to the channel now and gain access to rituals and practices that you can perform anytime effortlessly using simple tools that you already have around you. The more you know, the more protected you will be. Don't forget to share this knowledge with those who need it. Together we can cut out evil at its roots, restore balance, and attract the positive energies we deserve. Now that you've learned about the power of this simple yet profound onion ritual, I want you to think for a moment about everything that's at stake. That feeling of relief you're so desperately seeking, that peace that always seems just out of reach, the opportunities you desire but always seem to slip through your fingers. All of that could be one step away from being transformed. You've already taken the first step, the most important one, knowledge. Now the question is, what will you do with that knowledge? Let's pause and reflect for a bit on what this means for you. How many times in your life have you found yourself in situations that seemed inexplicable? Those moments when no matter how hard you tried, you felt that something invisible was blocking your progress. Illnesses that arise from nowhere, arguments that appear without reason, financial difficulties that seem like a repetitive cycle. What if those problems were more than just coincidences? What if there really are invisible forces blocking you and draining your energy? I know you might be thinking, how can something as simple as cutting an onion have such a big impact? That doubt is common, but think for a moment. Many times the most powerful solutions don't come from complex or costly actions. They arise from the simplicity of connecting with something essential. And this is a truth that transcends cultures, eras, and even science. Let's take an example from nature. Look at water. Water is one of the simplest elements we know. It has no color or smell, yet it is essential for life. Without it, nothing survives. In the same way, this onion ritual, no matter how simple it seems, connects with something deep. The layers of energy surrounding us are not about the object itself, but about the symbolism it carries. Every cut you make in the onion is a symbolic cut of the invisible ties that hold you back. The onion absorbs those negative energies, allowing you to finally free yourself. In this moment, I want you to realize something very important. You are in control. The truth is that those negative energies only have power over you as long as you allow them. By performing the ritual with the onion, you are taking control of your life. You are freeing yourself from forces that are preventing you from moving forward, and that in itself is already an act of power and personal empowerment. Think about this. Every time you cut the onion, you're telling the universe and yourself that you will no longer be a victim of negative influences. You are protecting yourself. You are returning to the sender everything that no longer serves you, and that simple action brings an immediate change both in your energy field and in your mental state. Because the moment you act, your mind also begins to act differently. You shift from a victim stance to one of someone who has control over their own life. Now I want you to think about something important. You deserve this. You deserve to live a life of peace and prosperity, surrounded by good energies. It doesn't matter what has happened up until now. It doesn't matter if you feel you've made mistakes or think you are paying for something from the past. Starting today, you have the power to cut those influences and restore balance in your life. It's easy to fall into the cycle of believing that we don't deserve good things, But that's just another of those negative influences acting in the background. The truth is that we all have the right and duty to seek our well-being, and this ritual, no matter how simple, is a powerful tool to begin that transformation. When you cut that onion, you are telling the world and yourself that you deserve to live without those invisible ties, and that is profoundly liberating. And remember, this is just the first stage of a larger journey. The onion ritual is an entryway into a more balanced and protected life. Here on the channel, you will find many other methods, rituals, and tips that will help you maintain that state of protection and well-being. Every video you watch, every practice you adopt, is one more step toward the life you've always wanted. Now it's your turn to act. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Subscribe to the channel and discover what else you can do to protect your energy and attract prosperity into your life. You have already taken the first step. Now keep moving toward your complete transformation. Until next time, dear friends.